organize your shit. And today, we're going to organize your wires. Unfortunately, most of us don't have the luxury of hiring an AV guy to come in, install all the wires into a wall, and hide them away in some other room in the house. Most of us are stuck with a bunch of wires that are underneath something, behind something, or out in the middle of everything. And I wrote a blog about this about 6 months back, and had friends write back and tell me, oh, I did the same thing, and this is what it looks like. And so let's give you some ideas for products you can buy to hide that stuff. And if you don't want to buy any products, we're going to show you a little DIY jerry-rig tutorial about how you can get those pesky little suckers out of the way. Okay, so this is really super embarrassing, but here is the back of my TV. Oh God, it's disgusting. So there you go. You can tell there have been attempts of organization. Little cable ties, not the best things in the world. But I've just kept it jammed between this cheap IKEA console and the wall all these years. So let's do something about it, shall we? So I should probably clarify first that these products that we're talking about and the little DIY thing that we're going to do are really just for the kind of run-of-the-mill household. We're not talking about somebody who's got a home office with like 8 different hard drives going on, and that's a whole other monster of organization. That's for another video. This one is for the average Joe household that's got your typical media, your receivers and your Blu-ray players and maybe a charging station and blah, all that kind of stuff. So this first product is aptly called the Cable Box, and you can find it at bluelounge.com. They have a ton of other really great space-saving products, but this particular product is $29.95, and it comes in white and black. And then there's this cool little guy called the Plug Hub, invented by a gentleman named Jared Joyce. You can find it on Amazon.com for $35, and one of the great things about this is that you can mount it on the wall or underneath a desk, as well as it stands alone. And then there's this guy that I love, and it's called the Quirky Cordy's Desktop Cable Management for Power Cords and Charging Accessory Cables. There's so much going on. But it's so simple the way that it works. It's only about $7. You can get it at Amazon.com, and I highly recommend it. If you have a hard time with it sticking to wherever you want it to stick to, I recommend just putting on a little bit of VELCRO at the bottom of it and whatever you want it to stick to. Welcome to Crazy Wireland, everybody. So this is the most tedious part, but it's also the most important part, because what we want to do is we want to take these really, really long cords and bundle them up as much as we can, because what we're going to end up doing is just shoving them in a box, really. So what you're going to first want to do is not buy plastic zip ties, because if you need to adjust in the future the length of this, you're going to have to cut them off and get a new one anyway. So I don't recommend those. I also don't recommend rubber bands because they get old and they break. What I do recommend is VELCRO. There's all different sorts of things like this. I think I just picked this up at Target for a couple of bucks. And we're off. Cut off all those plastic ties. You'll see here in a second I actually had packing tape wrapped around some of these cords. So then you just keep adjusting the length. You'll see me yanking on this stuff to try to make sure that there's enough cord to leave some slack so that you're not pulling electronics out of, like I almost did, the back of this thing. You need to get a box with holes on either side of it. You can also create it out of a pretty shoebox. Just cut a couple of holes with an X-Acto knife or a, there you go, there you're gonna see this box, da, 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 da. Then you just start tucking everything in. Anything that is underneath the lip of that box, you're just gonna unplug it and pull it through its respective side. Lots of plugging and unplugging here, that's why I sped this up. It's incredibly tedious. Some things are attached to each other. That's why they're not going into the box, because they're not plugged into the main power source. And here's your final product. You see there's a couple of little pieces of VELCRO just to keep those cords tamed and together. So there you go, guys. All you really need is a box. A box big enough to cover all the wires that you're trying to conceal. And they need to have 2 openings on either end. That wicker basket I just had laying around the house. Here's actually an image of one that I did for a client that she didn't have a box with openings on either end, so I just cut some. All you need is an X-Acto knife or a box cutter. And I was at Target yesterday and I saw these. I thought they were kind of handsome. I'll have links to all this stuff down below, as well as my Facebook page and my website. And please subscribe, and hopefully I will have another one out for you very, very shortly.